What up, YouTube Alayaks? Come back at you with another Custom StarCraft 2 cast. Today we have two mods in one. This is brought to you by the All Races mod, which puts multiple custom races into one game. It's a super sick mod. Let's go ahead and introduce our players, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about what mods these races are from. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's our yellow Keiron player You going up against his opponent. Spawning on the top right-hand side of the map, it's our green War Terrarn player Terrarn. Very fitting. Now, the Keiron are from the Scion Custom Races mod, which adds 3 new playable races to the StarCraft universe. Each one of them is super unique. I highly recommend you guys check it out. And as you can see, this converter is building the edifice from a distance. The converter is your worker. It's like your probe equivalent, and the edifice is like your gateway equivalent for the Keiron. And I love that animation as well. And of course, the War Terrarn are from the SC Evo Complete mod, which puts the StarCraft 1 races into the StarCraft 2 engine. Also, one of my favorite mods, a very sick mod indeed. And the fact that we're watching Brood War versus Custom StarCraft is hilarious to me. This SCV walking right into Yu's house. Yu is not reacting to this at all, and I think this SCV definitely spotted this expansion coming down in the natural base location for our yellow Keiron player. Also, one thing I should mention is that Yu is a Grandmaster player from Australia. I've seen him playing a lot more Stormgate lately, so I'm not sure what his vibe is on StarCraft 2 these days. And Terrarn, I think, might be in Diamond, but I can't remember. Terrarn, let me know down in the comments below what rank you are in. I am curious. And what is this, my guy? I thought this SCV was acting sketchy, and I was right. We have a bunker coming down for our War Terrarn player. Does you see this? He does not see this. That is actually hilarious. Great positioning on this bunker. The first Marine will likely make itself known. Maybe even will deny the Citadel. Oh, wow, and does, at least for the time being, deny the Citadel, so it looks like it's warping in, but it is not. The Keiron have to constantly build their structures. The 2 Pariahs might be able to stop this Marine. At the very least, will be able to stop this bunker from finishing. Come on, take out the SCV, and he does take out the SCV, almost losing 1 Pariah in that attempt. Oh man, this is wild. The Pariah is like a mix between an Adept and a Zealot. It has a short-range shade ability, but it is also a melee-only unit. 2 more Marines coming to support their brothers. Oh, wow, this is wild. Will the Citadel go down? I mean, this is only 4 Marines. The Citadel does have time to survive. And also, I love that the shield is green for the Keiron. Very cool. And the full worker pull on these, these converters. Yu is desperate to stay in this game, but I think bunker number 2 will finish. We have another SCV from the home base for the Terran player. The surround on these 2 Marines, though, is huge. And also, the full send on bunker number 1, and this bunker is full. How many workers have been killed? 6 workers. Actually, not so bad, all things considered, but the second bunker does finish, and all these Marines just flock to the bunker. They're like, hey, look, it's another one. That is hilarious. Bunker number 3 is now being placed. Technically bunker number 2 now because the first one did go down. There is a Cataract as well. I can't remember if the Cataract is more like an anti-air unit, but at the very least, it's a ranged unit. We have another warp-in of a Cataract, if you guys saw that, from the Citadel. But this is 4 Marines. I would almost do another worker pull, but I would also be panicking right now. I think I would choke in this position. Bunker number 3, I guess, technically goes down. We have bunker number 2 still alive, just about halfway down. Decent unit control by Yu, and Yu actually, honestly, that was a really clutch hold. If you're able to take out this bunker before these stimmed Marines come to support this. Stim is done, by the way. Yes, it is. Oh man, what a clutch hold by our yellow Keiron player. Let's take a look at the workers killed. 10 workers killed in that engagement. Not ideal, but keep in mind, you did hold the cheese. He has his second base in the natural already finished, and Terrarn is just now building his expansion. So you will be able to come back from this. He's also throwing a counterattack towards the War Terrarn side of the map. Unfortunately, Terrarn does not have the economy to build a bunker back home, but he does have Stim and he does have the medic, which will keep these Marines alive. So much of the yellow Keiron army actually going down. Great hold by Terrarn. Wow, that was actually a really good hold. Terrarn, great job. Usually a counterattack after some cheese basically ends the game. Oh, and we also have an Aurora. This is basically like, I don't know, like a Banshee equivalent for the Keiron. It's a flying unit. It shoots down, and I suspect this is going towards the mineral line for the Brood War Terran player. There's nothing to defend against air right now except for Marines. And a bunch of Marines against one Aurora. That's really not that bad. Not that bad for the Terran player. If he's able to attack this thing, how many workers going down? Looks like 2 workers killed in this engagement so far. These Marines do stim, though, and I think the Aurora is just a little bit too slow. Will it go down? It does, in fact, go down. Terrarn keeping up with this game. Not bad at all. There is a scouting unit right here, if I'm not mistaken, the Emanator, which is just going to be chilling. So this will give some sight for our yellow Keiron player, but honestly, you is in a decent position, I think. Taking a look at the worker supply, 35 workers to 28 in favor for our yellow Keiron player. Army supply, though, is in favor for Terrarn for the time being, 20 army supply to 11. One other thing, I don't recall if I already mentioned it, is the macro is very unique for the Keiron. So you have these kind of tech/macro structures, but these provide you charges to warp in around your main mining structure. So what I mean by that is you can see there's like a loading bar right here. That is charging up your next warp in, and then you can warp in your units around the Citadel. So it's kind of like a mix between like the Protoss and the Zerg in terms of how the Keiron macros. You need to warp in around your main mining structure. So instead of larva, you just warp in like a pylon's worth of distance around this thing. It's really, really cool. Now taking a look, we have siege tanks coming out from our Terran player, plus 1 infantry attack upgrades as well for our Terran player. And these Brood War siege tanks, man, are so goated. Look at that. That is so sick. I just love this color on the Terran in general. It reminds me a lot of StarCraft 1, like one of the first missions with Raynor. He's this color. It's awesome. Oh, and we have the missile turret, actually 2 missile turrets behind each mineral line for our Terran player. And Terrarn actually doing a decent job at keeping up with the worker supply despite the fact that his command center was delayed. Also, you guys, I didn't mention it. If you are new to my channel, I cast custom StarCraft 2 content all the time, so if custom StarCraft 2 is something you're interested in watching more of, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Now back to the show. This Keiron army is starting to look scary. We do have the Pariah, the sacrificial Pariah, going for the scout, and I think we'll actually potentially get sniped by this Terran army. Nope, actually we'll move just to the left of this army, and these armies are virtually even. 37 army supply to 42, a slight lead for Terrarn, actually. Not bad at all. And this Pariah getting a decent amount of scouting information and actually entering the Terran base at the perfect timing. But we'll also realize that there's no army for the Terran back home, because that means there's an army coming towards the natural base location. Ladies and gentlemen, the siege just now finishing up, I think, for the Terran player, and they are sieging, but I think a little bit too late. The Pulsars can move and attack at the same time, as you can see, and they just ate those Marines for breakfast. That is insane. Despite that, though, the army supply is still relatively decent. 34 army supply to 21 in favor for you, but it's not like the Terran's at 0 army supply. At this point, I'd be like, okay, there's no way Keiron's not going for the counterattack, so exactly this. Let's go ahead and siege up and pray. That's all the Terran can really do at this point. With this difference in army supply, these siege tanks, though, getting a lot of decent shots, but the Pulsars are so tanky. Look at this. They are going ham. They are getting softened up just a little bit, but I think this is too much for the Terran player. Now we're looking at 10 army supply to 26 in favor for our yellow Keiron player. The full SCV pull from the natural base location. All these SCVs go down. That's 17, now 18 SCVs going down. 22 total SCVs killed in this game. Terrarn throwing out the GG, realizing that is it. You returning the GG, getting the victory. What a sick game, but that was a bit of a short one, so I'm going to cast one more. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in a second. All right, you guys, welcome to game number 2. This is once again with you and Terrarn, but let's go ahead and reintroduce them because they are playing different races. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's our green Keiron player Terrarn, and I love the Keiron with this color. It almost completely changes their look. Going up against his opponent, spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our Brood War Protoss player You. I love this. We have two races with a similar aesthetic going up against each other. It's like a weird alternate universe Protoss versus the old school Protoss. This is going to be a sick game. This is take number 2 for this particular match because Steam started talking to me in the middle of it. I didn't realize I had the app open, and then an ad started playing. And I was like, who the hell is talking to me? Oh, it's Steam. Great. I kind of hate how the videos on Steam are so bent on auto-playing. No matter what you do, you pause it, and then you minimize the window, and then it starts playing again. It is so infuriating to me. You going for the scout, doing some harassment, leaving this edifice in limbo. This edifice does finish, though, and now we have 2 converters against 1 probe. But this isn't a cheesy probe. As we can see on the production tab, we actually have what is going to be the Nexus all finishing up, and the gateway already finished. Terrarn will see this, though. I think he was kind of freaking out that maybe he was getting cannon rushed for a second. Are we going to see a potential denial at the natural base location with a pylon? That would be kind of hilarious. I don't know if Yu's going to do it, though. But it depends how bitter he is from the cheese from game number 1. These were back-to-back submissions from a while ago, so I assume that these games were played one after the other. But there is, in fact, a Citadel coming down. So, unfortunately, no denial, no shenanigans here. A great move on this Pariah, but also a great move on the probe, actually taking out the converter right before going down. That was some great control by both players. That was hilarious. So, 1 worker to 1 worker killed, and the converter running home. So, nothing cheesy here. Now, to be fair, cheese for the Keiron, unless you're doing something like a cannon rush or a cannon rush equivalent, is kind of difficult because for any proxy macro, you need to build a Citadel. It basically be like building a hatchery in front of your opponent's base. So not a lot of proxy potential from the Keiron, unfortunately, but that's actually kind of fair because the Zerg also don't have like any proxy potential. This Volt will go down to the cannons of the Dragoon. The Dragoon is such a good unit, and now it has StarCraft 2 pathing, ladies and gentlemen. So this thing is moving around. It is confident. It's like, hey, look, I don't have to worry about getting stuck on some stairs. This Pariah trying to get a kill, and I don't think it does. No, actually, no, this is the Pariah that had the kill earlier. Yep. So still 1 worker to 1 worker killed. This Dragoon will undoubtedly take out the Pariah. These probes can rest assured that they are safe. And also, this is interesting. The shield battery skin is different in this version of the SC Evo Complete mod, or I guess technically the All Races mod, because for a second I was like, wait a minute, am I looking at the StarCraft 2 Protoss? No, I'm not, because we're looking at a Dragoon. So one thing to keep in mind is in some versions of the mod, I think the more recent versions of the mod, they actually use the old school shield battery skin. So that is the StarCraft 2 shield battery skin that we're looking at. Singularity charge will be done in 10 seconds. This will give some additional range to the Dragoon, but this is a good defensive position for Terrarn as well. These Volts are a tier 1 unit, but they're like the Marines. They shoot up and down, and they are obviously ranged. If they shoot up and down, you know what I mean. So this is going to be a hard wall to break for these Dragoons. We'll see, though. They will have some additional range. I feel like Yu is going to try and bait Terrarn out of his little shell. That's what I think is going to happen. And Terrarn, in Terran fashion, is kind of turtling up right now. I love it. So the edifice, the gateway equivalent for the Keiron in front of the ramp right here, and exactly what I was expecting. You tried to bait out Terrarn, but Terrarn's feeling really confident. This Pulsar doing some great DPS on this Dragoon, moving around. And these Dragoons trying to kite these Volts, but the Volts are just so fast. Unfortunately, though, they are a little bit squishy. Taking a look at the at like a healthy one. Let's grab a healthy one if I can. Here we go. So it's got 20 shields and 35 HP. So not a lot compared to the Dragoon, which has 85 HP and its full shields are 80. So, yeah, the Dragoon's a lot tankier than the Volts, but the Volts do move pretty quickly. Taking a look at the resources lost, 600 resources lost for our Keiron player and only 225 lost for our Brood War Protoss player. So, Yu is in a pretty decent position. He also has base number 3 already finished. Base number 3 for Terrarn is just now coming down. Taking a look at the worker supply, 43 workers for Terrarn to 53 for you. So a 10 worker supply lead for our yellow Protoss player. Army supply virtually even, 18 army for Terrarn and 22 for you. It's always funny when I say for you because it's like, oh, for you, but it's not for you. It's for the player you. This is a lot of Dragoons, though. It looks like we almost have a mono Dragoon play coming out from this Protoss player. There's literally nothing else on the production tab except for Dragoons. One of my first times playing this mod, I went Mass Dragoons and then I got roasted. But I still won. And it was so satisfying. I'm like, yeah, you're mad about these Dragoons? I mean, roast me all you want. But I still won the game. So I'll see if I can dig up that replay. It was a long time ago. It's just I was so happy that we could build Dragoons. I have like an irrational hate for the Stalkers. Somebody left a comment down below. They're like, I disagree with your hate on the Stalkers from one of my previous videos. And I was like, you know, it's valid because the Blink Stalkers are pretty strong. And the Stalkers aren't as squishy as I was saying they were. I was talking about how the Stalkers like paper mache and you look at it funny and it dies. And he's like, no, that's wrong. Like, they're not that bad. I'm like, you know, you're right. I just have an irrational hate for the Stalkers. And he's like, you know, fair enough. If you're watching this video, man, it was a pretty funny discourse. I mean, like a 2-comment discourse. I thought it was funny. This is a big army for the Keiron player, though. What is the army supply? 48 army supply to 52, so virtually even. We have Zealot Charge on the way, and we have +1 ground upgrades just finishing up as well. This is perfect timing for our yellow Protoss player. And by the way, I said charge. It's not charge. It's leg enhancement, so it's speed for the Brood War Protoss. The Zealots do go down, unfortunately, though. These Dragoons better walk to the support of the cannons. A lot of these Dragoons actually going down, though. The Keiron holding their own. The Keiron army, I should say, holding their own with this range. Doing some great job with the stutter stepping. Terrarn, not bad at all. Taking a look at the resources lost, it's now evened up. 2,800 resources lost for our green Keiron player to 2,200 resources lost for our yellow Protoss player. Also, I had to scratch my nose. If you heard me bump the mic, I am so sorry about that. Taking a look at the production tab as well, we don't have any army supply coming out from the Keiron player. We do have some more workers, and we have some upgrades as well. I believe this is 1-1 ground upgrades, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually take a look at the current upgrades. Yep, so we have 1-1 ground upgrades, I'm pretty sure, coming down for our green Keiron player. We have +2 ground attack upgrades as well being researched right here. What am I hearing? Where's this coming from? Oh, here we go. Oh no, the Zealot's trapped. Oh, that's hilarious. So the Zealot is now trying to break down the door. He's like, wait a minute, let me at him. Let me at him, bro. Is this going to depower? No, it's not. It's not going to depower these gateways. There are a couple pylons here as well. Oh, and I love this. The Umbra. The Umbra is so cool. It's like a cloaked hamster ball. It's so sick. It does uncloak when it attacks, though, and obviously it can't be detected by these cannons, so these Umbras trying to do some sort of harassment. Taking a look at the workers killed, still 1-1 in this game, so both players are now chilling, and Terrarn doing a great job at expanding. Look at this. He's expanding here in the middle. He's also expanding on the far right-hand side of the map. Taking a look at the worker supply, though, way in favor for our yellow Protoss player. 85 workers to 64. Army supply also in favor for you. 60 army supply to 44 army supply. Oh, man, I'm really curious what these Umbras are going to do, man. Also, one of my favorite units. I feel like I say that every time. Oh, are they going to take out these? Great reaction time by Terrarn. That's 4 workers killed now, 5 workers killed in this engagement. You plays a lot of Keiron, so he's very familiar with these units. He will try to chase them away, but the Umbras are so fast. A little bit of a miscalculation there by Terrarn, but at the very least, we'll be able to save. We'll be able to save his remaining Umbra. We also have what is going to be a Zealot drop in the shuttle. The shuttle is such a cool unit, man. Love that thing. Oh, and there was there was a Dark Templar there, but it did get sniped. I think what's a detector here? Actually, I don't know what's detecting. Maybe the Cruxes have a spell I forgot about. But nonetheless, that Dark Templar did go down. And the shuttle is just chilling. It's just chilling on the ramp. Terrarn, there's no doubt in my mind that you see this, but he's also not reacting to it at all. We'll see where... Okay, now he's reacting to it. We have a bunch of Volts coming down. We have one Zealot with its speed. It's like a Zergling. We'll try to attack some of these Converters. It does run away, though, and it still survives somehow, which is crazy. How many workers killed now? So we have 6 workers killed, so an even workers killed count for both players. These Zealots are doing so much work on these Volts. It's actually insane, and this Zealot with 6 kills is wild. These Converters just surround it. It's almost dead, but... Oh, wow. Okay, I was going to say his eyes are on another part of the map, and we saw what was a huge storm on this Keiron army, softening up so many of these units. And now 22 workers killed for our yellow Protoss player. These Zealots are still alive, bro. That is insane. This shuttle is doing so much more work than I ever would have guessed. And also the Keiron army is going down. This is a dark day for the green Keiron race. This is insane. This shuttle is doing so much work. How many kills do these Zealots have? This one only has 2 kills. This one has 4 kills. 40 workers now killed by our yellow Protoss player. Terrarn is still in this game, taking a look at the worker supply. 44 workers, so it's not like his economy is gone, but the economy is definitely doubled for our yellow Protoss player. These heavy units do go down. That is rough. There are some nullifiers here, which are like photon cannon equivalents. I guess they only shoot down. Oh man, this is insane. There's pings all over the map. This base is now not mining. This base is mining. Base number 3 is also mining. The Inducers are a very cool unit. Look at this thing. So their DPS is dependent on how close you are to the army. So that energy ball, it shoots an enemy and then it goes back to the back of the Inducer. Very, very sick unit. They're like turtles. They're literally turtles. But man, this is insane. There's so much chaos all over the map. I didn't think it was going to get to this point. Terrarn throwing out the GG, giving the victory to you. What a crazy game number 2. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.